We're back on Stadium Unplugged with ex-England goalkeeper Ian Walker. Now, you grew up in North London. What kind of kid were you? Were you cheeky? Did you get into trouble?
Yeah, my dad told me I was very loud.
Oh, were you? Are you still loud?
No, I'm very quiet now.
Exactly,
very quiet,
I
yeah,
thought
reserved. Yeah, he would say that I was quite loud and I kept them up at night and I wouldn't go to sleep. And yeah, so I was quite a big baby.
Okay.
And yeah, he disciplined me quite a lot.
Now let's talk about your father. Your father was also a goalkeeper and he played in the Welsh under-23 team. Was that instrumental in getting you involved in goalkeeping as well? Because that's how it works sometimes in family. You know
no, absolutely, yeah. Because well, I was born in Watford and he played for Watford, but he then transferred to Colchester.
Okay.
And so we moved there and obviously went to go and watch him play all the time, and he played until he was 40 years old there. So I was there all the time, you know, watching him play, watching him train, you know, seeing him come back from games with cuts and bruises and all that sort of thing. And so it's pretty natural that I would just go into it, really. And I was obsessed with it at that stage. Yeah, I was obsessed with it from 3 or 4 years old. So I started off actually playing centre forward for my local side, and then after, when I got to about 10 or 11, I changed and just decided I wanted to be a goalkeeper. So yeah, mainly because I didn't like doing all the running around. I was a bit lazy. Let's put it that way. I was a bit lazy, and I thought, well, that position looks okay. All you do is stand there
and get balls whacked at you at all angles.
Yeah, well, again, my dad was a goalkeeper, so you know, maybe it just was the natural thing for me to do, and you know, I kind of went into it and just went from there, and I had a natural ability for it.
Okay. What was the best advice your dad gave you when it comes to goalkeeping? We'll get to life later on, but goalkeeping.
Funny enough, we didn't really get on that well as he was coaching me, and we used to go to a little park next to the house, and of course he was playing a professional player, and he used to smash balls at me really hard, and I was like, oh, I don't like this, I'm not enjoying it at all. So it kind of ended in tears a few times, and we didn't really do that much coaching from then on. But he was always there, and he would criticise me quite a lot about different things. You know, you've got to do this better and you've got to do that better. But it was only because he wanted me to do well. And you know, so from that point of view, I think the first time he really praised me was when I played for England the first time. so it was quite a while coming. But
well, after watching you play games, does he ever get on the phone and say, Ian, why did you do that? You know, when did you do this?
You know, maybe perhaps you could do this better, and if I'd really be asking him for advice before he would start saying anything.
Okay.
So yeah, quite a few times. Obviously, I'd turn to him because he was been a goalkeeper for 20 odd years himself, and he knows the game inside out and knows how it works. So it was always good to have that to be able to fall back on and just say to him, look, what should I do? You know, or what do you think about this game? Or and you know, his advice was always excellent and helped me along.
Okay. Now your dad played for Wales, but you opted to play for England. Was that a very hard choice, or was that something that you thought you were already going to do growing up?
No, it wasn't a hard choice. Obviously, being born in England, that was it for me, really. But later on, I found out that my granddad was born in Rio de Janeiro, and I was thinking, oh, maybe I could have won a couple of World Cups.
Oh my gosh!
No, it was always England for me. Always, you know, it's a great honour for me to play for England. You know, I was fortunate enough to be able to do that. It's something that I wanted to do from very young, and not many people get to do it. So no, I was very, very proud to be able to play for the country of my birth, so it's great.
Okay, let's talk about Spurs. All the Spurs fans really love you. Why did you choose to join Tottenham Hotspur?
I don't know if all of them love me, but
well, I mean, you know, most of them, the ones here at least. Why?
Why? Well, my dad took me to Spurs one day. I was a young boy again, and he took me there. And as soon as I got there, I looked at the stadium. And I thought, this is where I want to play. And again, you know, later on, I went to the Lilleshall, which is the national football school at 14 till 16, and then Spurs came in for me. So I went there at 16. As soon as they came in for me, that was it. I was going there because, you know, it was always in my mind that, oh yeah, I want to play for this club. It's just something special about it.
My gosh, so you're living your dream almost.
Yeah, exactly.
You lived your dream.
Yeah.
All right. 2008 was the year that you chose to retire. Why did you choose 2008? You know, when did you choose, okay, this is the right time?
Well, I didn't really choose. I finished at Bolton. I didn't play that many games there. UC Ascalon was the goalkeeper, and he was a very consistent goalkeeper. I played something like 8 games in 3.5 years in UEFA Cup and League Cup and things like that. Didn't play Premier League when I was there, so I was looking to move on and possibly, you know, try and play some more games. And I was going to go to the MLS and play for Kansas City,
Nice.
now known as Sporting Kansas City. And in between finishing at Bolton and going training at Kansas, had a month, and I bent over one day just to pick my son up and felt something in my back. And I thought, oh, doesn't sound too clever. So next day I woke up and I couldn't bend past my knees, and it stayed like that for 1.5 years. So after going to see several different specialists around America, I decided that, you know, I couldn't carry on. So that's when I turned to coaching.
Okay. Do you miss, you know, those playing days? Because a lot of the players, I think, exactly the way you're saying, they'd had to retire not by their own choice. So you went through that too. Is there any time you look back and think, oh, I wish I could have, you know, gone on to play for a bit more? And
yeah, I mean, you always, especially at the beginning, and you just think, well, there's always that thing. You think, oh, I feel a little bit better today. Maybe I could come back and just try it again. But yeah, I mean, when you go to games and you see the atmosphere and you see the other guys going out there and playing, and you just think, oh yeah, you do miss it. But I mean, it comes to everyone in the end, and some people are fortunate enough to be able to say, right, I've had enough, and some people have injuries and have to stop, and it's just part of playing and part of life. You just have to get on with it.
Right. Good advice. Get on with it. Still ahead on Stadium Unplugged with Ian Walker.
I felt guilty afterwards because, you know, I was too busy worrying about my football, and you know, my mum was dealing with a lot of problems with, you know, she was cancer. Just got a phone call one day. I was on my birthday. My dad said to me, "You better come up to Norwich."